Six men stood in front of the Wilmore Realty office on May 8, 1934, looking out over a suspended real estate project. They were Archbishop John Glennon, his Chancellor, Father George Donnelly, Father Francis Scare, and three officers from the Wilmore Realty Company. The Archbishop pointed to an empty field, and he said, "There it is, Father Scare, your new church." Father Scare later recalled that he tried to visualize the new St. Gabriel Church. And it was beautiful. Father Scare was a young priest just recalled from St. Joseph Parish in Farmington, Missouri, when he was appointed to found the St. Gabriel Parish community. A small group of families attended an organizational meeting, and the dream was about to materialize. This group named their parish St. Gabriel the Archangel. The first Mass was held in the Wilmore Realty office at Nottingham and Donovan on May 27, 1934. And for the first year, that office would serve as the parish church. Ground was broken November 23, 1934, for a combination church and school. This one-story brick building with a basement auditorium comprises the first floor of what is the school today. In September 1935, the school opened under the capable direction of the Sisters of Notre Dame. Men volunteers had to drive the sisters each day to and from the Mother House in Ripa. By 1938, Father Joseph Durney arrived to assist Father Scare. Father Durney was very popular with the young people and kept them close to the parish by providing many activities. In 1939, a second floor was added to the school, and the chapel was moved to the second floor. The house across from the school served as the first rectory. Father Scare provided just what this newly formed parish needed to get started. His was the vision that brought a pioneer spirit, coupled with an intense faith and a profound love for the Holy Eucharist, into the fast-growing community. On Holy Thursday, April 22, 1943, Father Scare died. It would now be up to others to complete the work so nobly envisioned. To carry on the work so well begun by Father Scare, the capable and popular Monsignor Leo J. Steck was appointed pastor. Monsignor Steck had served on the faculty of the seminary. Since 1940, he had served as the head of the Catholic Rural Life Conference, and he would continue in this endeavor with the help of his new parishioners. By this time, 413 pupils were enrolled in the overcrowded school, and 10 full-time teachers were employed. A building project was essential. As soon as wartime restrictions were eased, Monsignor Steck began plans for the enlarging of the school. In May 1945, the work began. The new section of the school, built at right angles to the original structure, provided a library, kindergarten, 2 classrooms, and a living quarters for the sisters. On Mother's Day, 1946, the new building was dedicated. He was always at home with his people. But Monsignor Steck had his own dream of a new and adequate church for the parish. But that dream would have to be fulfilled by others, since in May, Monsignor Steck was appointed Auxiliary Bishop of Salt Lake City. While the parishioners realized the great honor that was bestowed upon their pastor, that pride was mixed with a tinge of sadness as they watched Archbishop Ritter bestow the fullness of the priesthood at the St. Louis Cathedral on their beloved pastor. But it was an honor that one of the most competent priests of the diocese was named pastor of this up-and-coming community. It was to the credit of Monsignor Steck that under his capable hands he did not disappoint. The dream was taking shape. Monsignor Rudolf Schuler was named by Archbishop Ritter to succeed Bishop Steck in July 1948. Once again, the dream had been passed on to another man of vision.
I remember one time walking into the kitchen of the rectory shortly after Monsignor Schuler came here and hearing the housekeeper shouting at the top of her voice, "Rudy, get out of that dining room right now. Rudy, do you hear me?" I was quickly relieved when I found out that the rectory had a new dog whose name was also Rudy.
Monsignor Schuler had been a lifetime friend of Bishop Steck. He immediately undertook Bishop Steck's plans for the erection of a new church.
But there was a problem, because right in the middle of where the ground was that the church was to be built, about where the rectory now stands, there was a two-story duplex house sitting right there. It had to be moved. And everyone in the neighborhood, I remember that day very distinctly, stood out on Nottingham and watched that huge house being moved several hundred yards west so the new church could be built. Interestingly enough, Monsignor Schuler had placed almost a full glass of water on the mantel and the first floor of that house, and not a drop was spilt as the movement went to the west.
Now sufficient land was cleared and available, and the parish's dreams, thanks to the vision and energy of Monsignor Schuler, began to materialize. Financial planning was handled by a group of men from the parish. $300,000 was needed. A general campaign among the parishioners was undertaken, with Mr. Cornelius Walbacher as general chairman, and Messrs. Casey, Hallberger, and Hoppy as divisional chairman. In all, there was a grand total of 450 workers involved in the project. The site of the church was blessed, and the first shovel of dirt was turned by Monsignor Schuler on Sunday, March 5th, 1950. He was assisted by his associates, Fathers Gerald Summer and Maurice Byrne. A good number of parishioners eagerly turned out for this special event. Working mainly from Bishop Steck's preliminary plans, Monsignor Schuler substituted a more traditional facade for the starkly modernistic one envisioned by Bishop Steck. The planning of the church was unique at that time. Although the traditional elements of nave, transepts, and sanctuary were retained, the nave columns were eliminated, and the building took on a fan shape with the altar as the focal point. The seating arrangement was such that no one would be more than a distance of 80 feet from the celebrant. All in all, the design combined the beauty of tradition with the convenience and functionalism of modern buildings. On June 18th, the cornerstone was laid by Archbishop Ritter. The entire parish gathered for this interesting ceremony. Priests, sisters, and laity joined the Archbishop on this long-awaited occasion. Monsignor Schuler was not only constructing a church, but he was also building a community. Even in the midst of the construction, parish life continued. Parish organizations thrived and grew during his administration. Youth groups became particularly strong during this time, and athletic programs were initiated. With the cornerstone firmly in place, it was time to begin the actual construction.
The people of the parish were anxious, and during the spring and summer of 1951, family after family came here, the men after work, the women during the day, to watch the stone being piled on the stone as the church and rectory were built. They knew it was God's house, but the people of the parish had sacrificed to make the church and the rectory a reality, and they knew it was their house too.
Monsignor Schuler was pastor for only 3 years. In August 1951, after almost a year of ill health, Monsignor Schuler died, just 2 months before the formal dedication of the church that he had built. Although we only had him for 3 years as pastor, during that time, Monsignor Schuler left an indelible mark upon those with whom he came in contact. And this church stands today as a monument to his memory, as well as those who shared his dream. Only 10 days before the scheduled completion of the beautiful new church, Monsignor Harry E. Stitz was appointed pastor. At the time, he fulfilled a dual role as editor of the St. Louis Register, which he had founded, and as the pastor of St. Mary of Victory's Parish since 1940. These were momentous days of mixed emotions for the people of St. Gabriel. Grief over the death of Monsignor Schuler was tempered with the excitement over the dedication of the new church. Now, deep pride swelled in the hearts of the parishioners, as once again the Archbishop had appointed such a well-known and capable priest as pastor. On the Feast of Christ the King, October 28th, the solemn dedication was held. Once again, the parish was honored to have Archbishop Ritter for the occasion. The sermon was delivered by Bishop Charles Helmsing, and a large group of clergy and lay people attended the solemn Mass that followed. Very quickly, the parish came to know their new pastor as a man whose vigorous administration was well suited to the demands and needs of the thriving parish. The dream of Father Scare was taking shape in a manner that he could never have imagined back in 1934. Once again, it was apparent that the booming school population necessitated more space in the school. Monsignor Stitz examined the possibilities and began construction on a badly needed convent. This also provided the building of new classrooms and school space in what had been the convent. Later on, because of his desire to present the best possible education to our young people, Monsignor Stitz built the gymnasium and added additional classrooms, including a science lab and art room, which were unmatched anywhere within the Archdiocese. Under his fatherly hand, old parish organizations were revitalized, and new ones sprang into being to answer present needs. Monsignor Stitz brought with him a combination of a keen business sense, coupled with a warm personality. He took a great pride in his new parish and insisted that nothing was too good for his parishioners. He bent over backwards to serve his parish family and saw to it that sacraments were readily available to all. He often bragged that he never had to talk about money. So loyal was the support of his parishioners. Monsignor Stitz died at the age of 80 on October 13, 1982. During his time, the parish grew to 2,200 families, and his imprint will be a lasting one because he constructed a spiritual house made of living stones. The parish was once again fortunate when Monsignor Richard J. Lubelai was appointed as pastor in June 1979. He came from Assumption Parish in O'Fallon and brought with him a variety of experience and expertise. As a former administrator of DeBerg High School, he was familiar with the area. In 1983, Monsignor Lupoli saw the need for a total renovation of the church to coincide with the Golden Jubilee celebration to be held in 1984. Under his competent direction, the church was modernized, beautified, and made liturgically relevant. He also pioneered the computerization of almost every aspect of parish life, thus enabling the parish to remain in the forefront of the modern church. But perhaps his greatest achievement was a deepening of the spiritual life of the parish through a series of parish renewal weekends. Monsignor Lupoli's goals for the parish were spiritual growth, doctrinal soundness, quality Catholic education, and financial self-sufficiency. With the help of hardworking and dedicated parishioners, the parish was able to achieve these goals and more. In January 1991, Father Charles Burgoon was appointed pastor. Father Burgoon had a friendly disposition that right away enamored him with the parishioners, and this enabled him to build community. He also was an astute administrator. He realized the need for a building program, and so he initiated the Call to Build program. 6 classrooms were added to the school, along with a meeting room. New air conditioning was also installed in the school. Needed work was done on the rectory and also on the church. But the spiritual side was not neglected. One of his greatest achievements was introducing the ACTS program to the parish, which has enriched the lives of many parishioners.
Well, I went to St. Gabriel's Parish in January of 1991. Monsignor Lupoli had been there for 12 years, and he was going to become a senior priest. So when I came to the parish, it was a larger parish than I had been accustomed to. We had about 1,700 households, and it was an very active parish. I would say that I was very blessed to be at St. Gabriel's. It was a wonderful place, had a very rich tradition with good liturgical music, had a very rich tradition of a good educational program for the young people, and we were blessed with wonderful financial support of all of our projects.
As St. Gabriel the Archangel celebrates its milestone 90th anniversary, we look back with gratitude on the many accomplishments of our parish and on the people who have played a role in making St. Gabriel such a faith-filled and welcoming place. At its heart in those 9 decades have been enthusiastic parishioners, guided by just as determined clergy. Our dedicated priests and deacons have overseen important waypoints in our lives: baptisms, graduations, weddings, funerals, and a myriad other events and activities. Father Robert Sampson was appointed the 7th pastor of St. Gabriel Parish in June 2006. Under his direction, the parish completed more improvements to the church and school. He also oversaw the transition of the convent into a meeting space now called Gabriel House for the school and parish organizations to use. In 2013, Monsignor John Shamleffer was appointed St. Gabriel's 8th pastor. He continued upgrading parish facilities, including a beautiful facelift for the school cafeteria and other parish meeting spaces. He also helped guide the parish through the coronavirus pandemic, ensuring that parishioners could still participate in the Mass via live stream. He strived to create a playbook on how to handle the crisis in the parish and school with input from parishioners as well as local and national health authorities. Most recently, Father Thomas Molini was appointed pastor in 2023 in the midst of the All Things New reorganization of the St. Louis Archdiocese. Serving as the shepherd for both St. Gabriel and St. Raphael the Archangel, Father Molini is charting a path for today's pastors who are called to guide the church's evangelization efforts in a new era closer to the year 2050 than 1950. The mission of St. Gabriel is to bring all men and women together as people of God, sharing the bread of life and living the law of love through service to all of our neighbors. That service is evident throughout the year, but especially so during the annual Make a Difference Day, previously known as the Day of Service, held around the same time as Stewardship Awareness Month. On that day, parishioners gather to work at the church, school, and in our neighborhoods to help those in need. Other organizations that have been part of St. Gabriel for generations are the Girl Scouts, Cub Scouts, and Boy Scouts. The programs aim to help young boys and girls build character, accept responsibility, learn about citizenship, and gain an appreciation for the outdoors. Dedicated leaders run meetings, oversee service projects, organize camping trips and other outings, and ultimately help students grow into conscientious adults. All of the parish organizations and families come together each year for the parish picnic. It takes hundreds of dedicated volunteers to organize and run the festival. We always put our best foot forward during the weekend celebration that includes an evening event on Friday and the carnival all day Saturday. Always capped off by a fireworks display, the days include a parade around Francis Park, rides, live music, games, a beer garden, plenty of food, and lots of fun and fellowship. It's nearly impossible to capture all of the programs and experiences in the parish, which is alive with activities nearly every day of the year. The St. Gabriel Church and School campus serves as a focal point of our lives and a wellspring of our faith. Now, the parish is embarking on a new initiative to keep the parish vibrant and welcoming for years to come. The Building Bright Futures campaign involves the addition of a welcome room next to the church vestibule that will be a gathering space for donuts and coffee, for instance, and also for funeral and wedding events. Gabriel House will be transformed into the Center for Innovative Learning, a one-of-a-kind educational center for the entire Archdiocese that will make St. Gabriel sought after for young parents. The updated building will also include room for parish meetings and activities. St. Gabriel's 90th anniversary offers an appropriate time to launch the Building Bright Futures campaign because it shows that St. Gabriel is continuing to move forward. The parish has been around so long because it continues to enhance not only its campus, but its programs to remain a welcoming and active place to live, serve, and worship. We'll strive to rededicate ourselves to breaking bread, living the gospel, and building up the body of Christ, with St. Gabriel the Archangel School and Parish at the heart of it all.